Good morning, everyone. It's No Glitches Allowed 10. I'm your host, Happy Bear. I am pleased as punch to be with you. I just can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be on this amazing Thursday morning, or afternoon, or evening, on this good Thursday time zone. How about that? We have some amazing runs coming up for you today. We've already had some great ones. I love Little Gator Game. And Lifeside, they are two personal favorites of mine. And we've got another classic coming up next with Mchan338 running The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 100%. It's going to be a wild couple hours, everyone, so you do not want to miss a moment of this. And Mchan, I do believe we are ready for you, so the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Mchan338, and welcome back to No Glitches Allowed 10. Would my commentator please introduce himself?
Yeah, hi, I'm NewLife88, and I'm gonna be helping Mchan commentate.
All right. Now I have been doing runs for No Glitches Allowed for a while, but this is I'm very excited to be back for this particular game because this is a very special game to me. I probably might not look like it to some people, but I'm actually an old runner of this game. I started speedrunning in 2012 with A Link to the Past, so yeah, this game is very special to me, and I'm very excited to show this game off with my first speed game, as well as the category that I've been focusing on the most with this game. If we're ready to begin, I'm gonna go ahead and begin here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, third Zelda game, and the category that I'm running is 100%. So in 100%, I have to get all the heart pieces, all the heart containers, all the items. I have to upgrade everything, as well as complete every single dungeon. We don't have to get the maps of the compasses. I do not have to get the bomb and arrow capacity upgrade that you get from the Pond of Happiness later on the run. That we've considered that to be optional. And then the other interesting thing about 100% is that some items have multiple tiers of upgrades, and if I'm able to get the highest tier right away, then I can skip any lower variation tier of the item as long as I can get the highest tier right away. So right off the bat here, you probably don't see it. It's hard to notice when you're just watching people do it, but I'm actually mashing on the D-pad. And that is anytime I'm facing left or up, and that's just a technique called pumping. I don't know if you want to explain pumping, New Life?
Right, well, when you pump against the wall, and you're walking left or up, so the animation for walking that Link has is that when he walks left or up, he starts walking with 2 frames, and then 1 frame, and then 2 frames, and then 1 frame, successively. But when you pump, you kind of reset that animation every time you pump. So the more you pump, then the more you reset, and you walk 2 frames by 2 frames. I think more or less that's how it works.
Yeah. Alright, so here we are in Hyrule Castle. We're coming up to what would normally be our first item, which is the boomerang. But here we're actually going to skip it. In most categories you actually do pick up the boomerang. But we're going to skip it this time because there is a place where we can get the upgraded boomerang later on. And so it is just much faster to get the upgraded boomerang and skip this boomerang. You do lose about a few seconds here and there without picking up the boomerang. It's not that bad. And then we're coming to a mini boss here, which is the Ball and Chain Guard. So the Ball and Chain Guard is kind of a really tough enemy. He does 1 heart of damage, and we only have 3 hearts, so it's pretty tough to deal with him. I'm gonna get rid of that green guard first off. Okay, there we go. Can be a little risky the way I fought him right there. You could also throw pots at him and does more damage, but the 8 slashes is the fastest way to beat him, only by just slightly. So we pick up the lamp there, and we also rescued Zelda. There's 2 other places where we can get the lamp, but getting the lamp there in the jail is faster than either in Link's house or in the well where we got our sword. So now that we rescued Zelda, we have to basically just take her out of Hyrule Castle here. This is what we call the mandatory escape sequence. So on our way to the dark room, the dark areas of Hyrule Castle, there's going to be little instances of RNG. So all the enemies in this game, they start off in the same place, but where they move is random. So you just have to just read and react to what you get in each room, and you know, react accordingly in order to go through rooms efficiently. It's kind of the key to getting a good time in this game. So we do need Zelda in order to push this this entire case and reveal the secret passageway behind the throne room here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this heart just for a slight bit of safety in case I get really unlucky, but shouldn't happen. Okay, that was really good right there. The snakes, all those snakes let me through there without any issues. Sometimes you can get walled by those snakes, and you just have to either boost through them or slash them out of your way. Now, pumping is also really useful in water, because you do move much slower in water. So I am trying to maximize my movement as possible in the water as well. Oh, so now you got the best RNG for this room, but unfortunately missed my slash there. That's okay.
You never expect that, Red.
Alright, so we're almost done. In this next room coming up, you want to hold right in order to skip a text trigger. Just like that. Sometimes those rats can actually hit you into the text trigger, but that didn't happen this time. But alright, we're out. Alright, so the chest right there contains a heart container. That's the only free heart container that you get in the game. Every other heart container, you do have to work for it. And in most categories, actually, most people actually pick up that heart container, even though it's an optional heart container. This extra heart container is really useful. That one heart that can make a pretty big difference over the course of the run, because this is a pretty tough game, and there's a lot of things that could kill you pretty easily in this game. But since it's 100%, we do have to pick it up. So, all right. We're now going to be on our way to East Palace. There are some things that we can do before going to East Palace, but they're just very far out of the way with the equipment that we have right now, so we're just going to go straight to Eastern Palace. It should be worth noting that every single category of this game is split up into 3 subcategories. So there is restricted, unrestricted, and no major glitches. I am running the no major glitches variation of this category because, well, one, it's the closest to no glitches allowed, like the spirit of no glitches allowed that we have for this game, as well as I really only done no major glitches, and it's the category, and it's the variation that most people compete on. In the No Major Glitches variation, it is technically faster to save and quit in order to actually get to East Palace quickly. But we do not allow save and quit because it just makes it's just a kind of an old, very old rule set in the history of Link to the Past speedruns. So here we are in the first dungeon, the first real dungeon, which is East Palace. It's a pretty straightforward dungeon. In this next room coming up, there's normally 4 Stalfos that will spawn in this room. But if you move in a certain way, then only 2 will spawn. And their hitboxes are actually just there right away. So I know exactly where they are, where they're going to spawn, and I just threw 2 pots at the 2 Stalfos before they even appear on screen. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up those arrows right here. You don't really need it most of the time, but in case I get screwed later on in the dungeon, then it'll be worth it. So in this next room, you have to fight a bunch of enemies normally, but I'm gonna be doing a trick that actually skips having to fight all the enemies in this upcoming room here. It can be kind of risky if things go wrong, but we'll see what happens. Nice! So by using the iframes, I can grab that pot surrounded by those anti-parries and hit the switch right away and get the big key without having to fight any of the enemies in that room. So we're heading up to our the item of the dungeon, which is the bow, and it's a very useful item across the game here. We're going to be using arrows quite a lot. Very nice. And the rupee route involves you want 10 rupees from drops alone. So I just got my 10 rupees from drops, and then all the other rupees I can get automatically within the route. These red Igors can only be defeated using the bow. That's the first instance where the bow is required. And commit is our first boss. I'll let you explain the boss fight here.
Okay, well, this boss needs each one of those statues needs 3 arrows to be killed, and he set it up so he could kill them all without spawning the red statue. But unfortunately, he missed the last shot, and then he had to shoot another 3 on the left, because when he turns into red, his HP resets, and then he has to shoot another 3 arrows. But it was a very good fight. Very, very good fight.
Alright, so now that we completed East Palace, we can go to Sahasrahla in this cave right here. And he's gonna give us the Pegasus boots. So in basically almost every category, you do try to do East Palace as early as you can, so you can get the Pegasus boots, because it's so useful. You dash really fast, and that's where the pacing of the game kind of starts to pick up here. Behind the cave here, you can actually get some bombs as well as some rupees. And I'm pretty much set for rupees for the first half of the game now. You do need at least 110 for this first half in order to enter one of the dungeons later on. But we do need a lot of rupees past that. What I just did just now was a trick called Super Speed. The variation I just did was called Spin Speed. So if you press A, the frame after you spin attack, then Link gets put into a state where if you go upstairs, then you just start moving really fast without having to dash all over the place. I'm gonna try and do another one right over here, but this one only just saves a few, just very, very little. Okay, I didn't get it. That's okay. You can tell if you get it if you try to swing your sword and you can't. So if you watch a runner who has like an input display, they'll usually try to verify that they got spin speed by trying to swing their sword. If they don't see the slash animation, then they got it.
Something worth to note too is that this trick only works on the Japanese version 1.0. Any other version, this trick wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that we are playing on Japanese 1.0 specifically because, well, there's fewer text boxes in Japanese, so you save about a minute, and then you save an extra minute for some of the tricks that only work in the Japanese 1.0. It's very specific to this version alone. So you'll be seeing a few more tricks that only work on this version. Otherwise, without these tricks, the route can actually still work. It's, you only lose about a minute from these tricks.
Is now a good time for a quick update?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Well, just want to remind everyone that we've got that See No More language bid war open, and I've never actually promoted my own donation incentive before, but I will be running that game. We've got $15 for Irish Gaelic, $8 for Arabic, and we also have English, Spanish, and Japanese open as language options. And those are all at 0, so definitely get those donations in. I personally think all of the languages are fun to run for this game, but I do typically run an Irish Gaelic, so I am enjoying what I'm seeing so far, but if somebody wants to just totally take us in another direction, now is your golden opportunity. Alright, over to you guys.
So this is Desert Palace, the first dungeon that really introduces dashing. So when you dash, you can see that there's a little startup animation, so it's not worth dashing all the time. The general rule of thumb for optimizing your dashes is if your destination is about 4.5 tiles or more, then it's worth dashing. Otherwise, you want to walk if you don't have to go very far, or if you're about to get hit. So Desert Palace is split into like 2 different segments. There are 2 ways to enter Desert Palace, and we're about to head over to the second part of Desert Palace now that we just got the item, which is the Power Glove. The Power Glove allows us to pick up like white rocks that you see in the overworld, so that actually opens up more of the overworld after this dungeon. And we're also about to get our first heart piece of the run here. You do want to be careful not to fall off the ledge, otherwise you do have to go back to the first part of Desert Palace and make your way back over here again, and loses quite a bit of time. What I just did there was called a key dash. So normally when you dash into locked doors, you bonk, but every 4 pixels, you're able to dash into key doors. So, and there's visual cues for most key dashes to where you can get them every single time. So so you don't have to like eyeball the 4 pixels. Alright, so we're coming up to the Land Molas boss fight, and this is kind of our first difficult fight to do fast. So let's see what happens here. You can go and explain Land Molas while I do the fight.
Yeah, Land Molas consist of like 3 earthworms, right? Like they shoot rocks at you, and they can only be hit on the head. So what he's trying to do here is he's trying to shoot as many arrows he can on the heads, because that's what does the most damage. And then trying to get some slashing. It takes 4 arrows to kill them. and he's doing a really good job right now.
Okay.
Wow. Very good job. Yeah, usually it takes longer. But...
Yeah, if you're unlucky, yeah. If you're really good, then you can actually beat the Land Mollusk fight in like 2 cycles. But you have to be really good, and it's also luck based, because as you kind of saw, sometimes they do what's called short hops, where they just don't really cross the screen very far, and it can be very frustrating.
Exactly, it's RNG, how far they will jump, which direction they're gonna jump, and so it's a lot of reaction too. So
Yeah.
you know, very, very good fight.
Alright, so we're about to get our second heart piece here, and then coming up is another Japanese 1.0 exclusive glitch here. It's called Fake Flippers. So normally it's supposed to go all the way up in order to get to the next dungeon, but we're gonna go a little bit out of our way to do a trick called Fake Flippers. So I don't have flippers right now, so I can't swim. But if you screen transition on the very last pixel, then the game just gives you flippers. But because you don't have flippers, if you get hit, then the game doesn't really know where to put you, and so you're just put in a weird state where if you try to move, then the game soft locks. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. Okay, there we go. There's my fake flippers, and now I'm gonna try and get into this whirlpool for that Zora right there. It hits me. There we go. Very nice. So no soft lock. I do have a backup save in case I did soft lock, but it doesn't really happen very often. But in the off chance that it does, then I have it ready. But now I don't have to use that backup save anymore. That is the only soft lock potential of the run. If you're running like any major glitches category, then there are more opportunities to soft lock than just fake flippers. Alright, so now we're gonna head over to this dark cave over here. We're about to be approached by an old man that will that we need to guide out of the cave here. He's lost, so we have to guide him out. And then he's going to reward us the magic mirror coming up here. The magic mirror is an item that will, well, later on, it'll, like, when we get to what's known as the Dark World, you can use the mirror in the Dark World to go back to where we're at right now, which is called the Light World. Oh, that's unlucky. Yeah, this is unlucky. So, these enemies, they're called Dead Rocks. They move randomly, and when you're trying to hit them out of your way, they can then, when you hit them, they stay in place for about a few seconds. And sometimes you can knock them in a position where you just get blocked like that. Okay, this is not good. And so you just there's nothing you can do other than just wait, and it's very unfortunate sometimes. All right, so we're about to do what's known as a bomb jump here. So here we go. Let's see how this goes. Some people actually get this heart piece after the dungeon, but because thanks to this bomb jump, let's see how this goes here. Awesome.
Nice, good job. Some people like to do another trick also called hovering across that part, but that's.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so there's an even faster variation of going about with that heart piece known as hovering. Essentially, you try to like dash over a pit, like because the game doesn't recognize that you're above a pit when you're dashing for like a frame or two. I don't really know the technical explanation of how hovering works, but very few people hover at all in this game. Alright, so in this room, the tile room, there's not really much to say. So if you have like maybe 1 or 2 things that you want to talk about, that you want to like donations or comments, then this would be a good time.
Perfect. Well, just want to remind everyone that we've got a couple other bid wars open. We've got the Papa's Hot Dogaria run coming up, and we've got a character bid war for that. Taylor's at $0 and Peggy is at $2. So Peggy is winning right now, but Taylor could be winning. And also, oh, I love this one. I love this one so much. So early tomorrow, we've got the Disneyland Adventures run, and there's going to be a Disney sing-along bid war.
Ooh.
So the options are Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, I'll Make a Man Out of You by Mulan, and Proud of Your Boy from Aladdin on Broadway. All those are at $0, but I think that could be a flaming, spicy hot bid war as we get closer to it. That's going to be our first run in the morning tomorrow. So I want to see those donations come in. It's going to be so fun.
Alright, so we're coming up to our next bomb jump here. So this would normally be our first bomb jump in like most other categories. Here we go.
Let me just say something. Something really weird happened. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, I've never seen that happen before.
One of the enemies just went across the pit and a wall and it didn't fall through the pit. That was very weird.
Yeah.
And I played this game many years.
Okay, so coming up is Moldorm. Here we go. This is everyone's favorite boss. You can go ahead and talk about Moldorm.
Oh yeah, Moldorm. Well, Moldorm is this weird-looking another worm that his head. Whenever you hit the head, you bounce. So it's very, very dangerous because it pushes you off the ledge, and you can only hit the tail. And on the last hit, he starts moving even faster. So it's very, you can get pushed off the stage, and then you have to do the fight again. But this fight went really well. All the boss fights have gone really well.
Yeah, the first 3 bosses, well, maybe not really the first fight, but the second and third boss are 2 very frustrating bosses early on in the game. So if you're grinding attempts, then Landmolus and Moldorm can really cause issues.
Yeah.
But yeah,
maybe not. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
No, I was going to say that maybe not as so much in 100% because you are collecting heart pieces, so you have full health when you start the Hera dungeon. But in other categories, it can be very, very dangerous because of the RNG in Death Mountain.
Yeah, and also the hole in the middle of that boss fight, if you actually fall down it, you actually fall down 2 floors, so you just lose a lot of time. You can just lose a lot of time very easily in Moldorm. Alright, so we just got the Massive Sword, our first sword upgrade here. And so with the Massive Sword, you can do 2 base damage now. And then also when you're at full HP, then you can shoot out sword beams, which will always do 1 base damage. And there are places where having full HP is really good because you can use sword beams to either kill enemies from a distance or hit switches from a distance. So it's in parts where you want full HP, it's very, very useful. Otherwise, you lose about a few seconds here and there. I'm gonna grab that mushroom right here. It's actually just slightly faster to pick it up after the Massive Sword, which is why you see me skip over it earlier. And I'm gonna fall down over here to grab this heart piece. And now we're actually going to head back to Hyrule Castle, because in case you can't read Japanese, Zelda's actually been kidnapped again. So we have to go back to Hyrule Castle and save Zelda again. And this time we're actually gonna go to the upper part of Hyrule Castle. It's known as it's called Castle Dungeon in the game, but a lot of people like to refer to it as Aghanim's Tower. And it's pretty much like a bunch of like fighting enemies. So this is where optimizing your combat is key here. So there's a barrier coming up here, and with the Master Sword we can actually just break it. So here we go.
Yeah, this dungeon is the first challenging dungeon, I would say. Yeah, it's a sequence of many, like, I would say a gauntlet of rooms, you know, each room different but challenging.
Yeah. In this next room coming up here, if you have full HP, it can actually be kind of tricky sometimes, because these guards in this room will not track you unless you use sword beams or bonk on something, or even clink on something. Basically, just any kind of noise, the soldiers will come after you. So if you accidentally slash while you have full HP, then you can just get bodied by those blue soldiers pretty easily. Okay. Alright, not too bad.
Very clean rooms.
In this next room here, this room is much easier if you have the boomerang, but I do not have the boomerang, so this room's a little bit harder, but that one was not too bad. Okay, so coming up is the Aghanim fight, and so I want people in the chat to get your guesses in for how many blue balls I'm actually going to get here. So the way the Aghanim fight works is Aghanim has a cycle of 5 attacks. The first attack is always a guaranteed energy shot, and then hits 2 and 4 is a 50% chance of an energy shot and a blue ball. A blue ball is non-reflectable, so you just lose time if you get a blue ball. And then the 5th attack is a lightning. And then the cycle repeats itself until the fight's over. So it takes 6 energy shots to beat Aghanim. So, assuming you don't miss a single energy shot, and you're very unlucky, then the worst you can get is 15 blue balls. Okay, that's 1 blue ball already. That is 2. Okay, and then this attack is going to be a lightning, and then the cycle repeats itself until the fight's over. I got some 3s, 4s, and 6s. Yeah, for reference, 3 is about average. Basically any... Okay, so I'm guaranteed to get a 3-cycle Aghanim fight, since I just got a 3 blue balls right there. But yeah, any Aghanim fight that's around 3 cycles is usually about average. So we're at 4 right now, and this will hopefully be the last hit. Okay, 4 it is. So, congratulations, Red Soren, for getting the 4 blue ball guess. And here we are to the Dark World. So this is where the run gets a little bit more interesting. Usually, people like if you reset Light World, the Light World segment enough, and you finally get to the Dark World, and the run gets more exciting here. It's also where the game starts to open up a lot. As after you do the first Dark World dungeon, then you can do every other Dark World dungeon in like several different orders with like very few restrictions. So we're actually, as you might guess, we're gonna be doing the Dark World dungeons out of order. Ooh, that bomb. Okay. So, now we're gonna head our way to the first Dark World dungeon. It's called Palace of Darkness, and you do need 110 rupees, sometimes more if you get unlucky, to enter the dungeon. So here, Kiki the monkey is going to follow you around. He 10 rupees for him to follow you. If you get hit while he's following you, then you have to find him again and pay 10 more rupees. And if you have like exactly 110 rupees, then you have to just grind more rupees, and it's pretty unfortunate. And then of course 100 rupees to enter the dungeon. All right, so here we go. Palace of Darkness. Here we go. So. I haven't explained this during the Tower of Hera, but the other thing that the mirror can do, other than transport you from Light World to Dark World, or Dark World to Light World, is if you're in a dungeon, then the mirror can teleport you back to the beginning of the dungeon, which is very useful for saving backtracking.
And now coming up is one interesting bomb jump that he's going to perform, called the hammer jump. And it requires very precise movement and positioning to be able to do it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes here. This is the hardest bomb jump. You're on a time limit. You have limited time to set it up. I'm gonna be doing I'm gonna be pause buffering my movements in order to set up my positioning. It is a pixel perfect position for the bomb position, as well as a pixel perfect position for myself. So here we go. Very nice.
Wow, very good.
Took a few buffers, but yeah, if you can actually do that bufferless. And by bufferless, I mean like the first buffer to equip bombs, and then the second buffer to equip the mirror, and no extra buffers. And you can get it really fast, but it's very hard to do. So that saves you from having to get an extra key, and go through the dark maze in order to get that key, and it saves like 40 seconds. It's a pretty big time save. The scary thing about the bomb jump is if you fail it more than 2 times, then you're gonna lose a lot of time in the later half of the dungeon, because you're not gonna be at full HP in order to hit switches using sword beams, and then you have to go to your pause menu a bunch of times to switch to something where you can use range items. But since now I'm gonna have full HP going through the rest of the dungeon, I'll be able to use sword beams without having to equip, like, let's say, my bow in order to hit a switch from a distance. Alright, Alright, so we have the turtle room coming up, and if you get unlucky or you mess up in that room, then we call it Turtle Party, because you just have a ride with these turtles.
Oh, that's I wasn't familiar with that term, but I love it.
But yeah, we did have a bad turtle room right there. And now we're approaching the Helmosaur King boss fight, so I'll let you go ahead and take over that, the explanation for that fight.
Yeah, Helmosaur can be very scary because he moves. He has this mask that you have to break with it's 17 hammer.
Yep.
Hammer, yeah. You can even use the bombs to break it, but yeah, it's more reliable to use the hammer. And then he has this crystal in the middle of his face that you have to hit 4 times with a hammer, or you can slash it, or even shoot arrows. However, his movement is very, very random. He can shoot fireballs from the mouth that split into 3 and then into 4, and then his tail. So, but this again was a really good fight. Like, there's nothing. They don't. You also got very good RNG. He wasn't doing a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, you can get into a position sometimes where, like, you're in the bottom, and Helmosaur King is also on the bottom, and he's preparing his tail whip attack as well as the fireballs, and then it's really hard to figure out what to do in that situation, and every single attack is too hard to damage. So it's, you know, right now I have well, in that fight I had 8 hearts, so you can only take 4 hits in that fight, and it can get really scary. So now that we're finished with Dark Palace, again the game starts to open up now. But we do have a specific route that makes routing all these items as efficient as possible. So we are going to be doing all the dungeons outside of order here. This is actually the longest stretch without doing a dungeon in the game. So we're not going to be seeing a dungeon for quite a bit. Right here is another Japanese 1.0 exclusive trick. It's called item dashing. So if you use an item and dash on the same exact frame, then you dash while using the item. So in that case there, I used the hammer to dash through all those pegs. Otherwise you have to hammer all 3 of those pegs one by one without the use of item dashing. So I went out of my way there to get an extra 300 rupees, as that's going to be proven useful for some fun stuff coming up here very shortly. We're about to get the flute, which is used to transport us in various places of the overworld. And then after that, we are going to be doing the digging game. So get your guesses in chat as to how many digging game attempts it's going to take for me to get the heart piece.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Is now a good time for a donation?
In a moment.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So I just want to go ahead and explain that there's a nice, cool little trick coming up here, where I can pretty much skip a cutscene. So I'm gonna get the flute from this digging spot, and I am above the warping spot right there, and I'm actually able to skip a cutscene right there. Otherwise, if you get the flute, then those animals, you have to watch those animals leave the screen. But if you warp right after getting the flute, then you just skip the cutscene entirely. But coming up is the digging game. And so the way the digging game works is the first 25 digs has a 0% chance of getting a heart piece, and then every dig after that is a 1 out of 32 chance of getting a heart piece. yeah, we'll see what happens. If I get a heart, if I get the heart piece, then great. The run is good. If not, then you have to hope that you get really good rupee luck, because you do need, after doing the chess game and digging game, you do need about 600 rupees in order to have enough rupees for everything else. So that's the first digging game attempt done. No heart piece, so now I have to try this again until I get the heart piece. And you lose about 40 seconds each attempt. And this is like the biggest run killer of this category, and also like the sole reason why 100% is the least popular category in this game. And so while I get the heart piece, this would be a good time for you to go ahead and read some donations. So take it away.
Wonderful. Well, we got a $1 donation from Red Soren 12 who says, I am so used to watching Randomizer, so this is throwing me off every time there's a chest. And that $1 went towards our Disneyland Adventures bid war for the sing-along. And currently, I'll Make a Man Out of You is in front with $1. Y'all, I can't tell you how excited I am for that bid war. Seriously. We also have another bid war open for Streets of Rage 4, the food icon bid war. We can either have apple and chicken, onigiri and ramen, pizza and poutine, or tofu and salad. Onigiri and ramen is ahead with $5. And of course, we've got our Say No More Language bid war coming up in just a little bit. That will be finished. So if you want to donate, now would be a good time to start doing that, because that run is going to be happening in about an hour or so. Again, English, Spanish, and Japanese are 0. Arabic is at 8, and Irish Gaelic is at 15. All right, over to you, team.
All right, so we just got we got the heart piece on our second try, which is, you know, if you're just doing runs, and you know, that's actually still really good. So very nice right there. So we're just collecting a bunch of items here. You can actually get these items much earlier in the game, but it's way more efficient with the combination of dashing, the mirror, and other stuff to get these items now. And then here we're gonna activate the flutes here in front of this bird statue, and it allows us to get the bird. And the bird is going to allow us to transport into 8 different parts of the overworld. Now when you activate this bird for the first time, you can't actually use the flute for about a few seconds, but if you item dash the flute, then you can use the flute right away. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick stop over here to the witch's hut to deliver the mushroom that we got from the forest over to her, and then I'm gonna go ahead and screen transition back over to the hut, and the mushroom is now transformed into magic powder. The magic powder is used to turn anti-fairies into fairies, so it's very useful. It's also required for 1 item later on as well. And then we're gonna go ahead and spend 100 rupees for this bottle right here. There are 4 bottles that we have to get. Okay, very nice. And then we're gonna head over here to grab ourselves another heart piece. Pretty shortly, we are approaching the chess game, and the chess game, we can actually explain this now while we're at it here. You can only open 2 chests per attempt, and what you get out of the chest can be anything: bombs, arrows, rupees, or even a heart piece. Hold on. Okay, nice. And so it is about a 1 in 8 chance to get a heart piece from each chest. However, in the Japanese 1.0 exclusive version of this game, there's a bug in the game where you cannot get the heart piece on the very first chest. So you can only get the heart piece in the second chest, so you just have a flat 1 out of 8 chance of getting a heart piece, instead of every other version where you can get 1 out of 8 per chess, giving you like a 25% chance of getting a heart piece. So in those versions, it's more consistent. If you care about consistency, then you know, every other version except for Japanese 1.0 works. So because we're coming up with to the chess game, go ahead and get your guesses in as to how many chess game attempts I will get the heart piece in. We got second try dig, but whether or not that's a good omen for chess game or not is really up to the game. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna grab this fairy right here, and this fairy is going to be used for, hold on, okay. This fairy is gonna be used for something much later. Alright, so here we go, chess game. So again, if you don't get the heart piece, then you just hope that you get either like good rupee luck, which I didn't get any rupees out of that, and I do need a bunch of rupees right now. I'm actually low on rupees right now, so I would like to get some rupees here. This is actually pretty unlucky right now. So that's 2 tries down. The third try, I only got 1 singular rupee out of that, so that's still not good. Four? At least I think that was
this
4.
This is very bad rupee luck.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I got the 50, so I can actually do the chess game a few more times. But I would still like to get more rupees out of this. Wow. Not so nice. This is just the nature of 100% runs in this game. You know, it's not, you know, you get the good luck in digging game, but it's not over until you get past chess game, because, you know, you could also get unlucky on chess game like I am right now. So I believe that was 8 tries already, which is actually, now I'm a below average for chess games. Any Link to the Past runners that are watching this might think that's a little unlucky because, or at least uncharacteristic, because the lore in the Link to the Past community is that I'm known to be the luckiest Link to the Past runner, but so far this run hasn't really proved that. I got 2 hearts, but no heart piece. And I keep missing opening chests as well.
And this is the reason why the estimate is so high.
Oh yeah, yeah. My PB is 148.57, but there's a 2-hour estimate in order to compensate for getting very unlucky. So fortunately, I am starting to get more rupees, which is good, because if I actually did get the heart piece with the rupee count I had earlier, then I'd have to take a very long detour to make up for the rupees. So there we go. Finally got the heart piece. I already lost count of how many tries that was, but all I know is that I was unlucky. So you got a taste of what 100%'s like, and now the run continues. Alright, so this chest right here contains the red boomerang. Otherwise, if you have the boomerang already, then it would contain 300 rupees. I think the game just doesn't want you to miss any items, because you cannot actually go back to Hyrule Castle at this point. So you actually just get the game just gives you the red boomerang just like that. saves a lot of time upgrading the boomerang later on. So here we are in Beast Town, which is the 4th Dark World dungeon. We skipped dungeons 2 and 3 right now in order to do the 4th dungeon. And in most categories, doing the 4th dungeon as early as possible is like just the most useful thing you can do. And you'll see after this dungeon why. For now, going to this dungeon is really easy as far as going through it, but surviving can sometimes be a pain because in the Dark World, the enemies hit much harder than the enemies in the Light World, so it's very easy for you to take damage. We're coming up to what's known as the Hellway, or actually, I don't think I'm allowed to say that, but basically, as you can see right here, it's a huge pain. And we got through it fine. And if you can actually position yourself pixel perfectly, then you can actually just dash right through without having to worry about any of the enemies as long as none of the enemies get in your way. But it didn't quite happen that time.
Yeah, to get that you need both luck and like perfect positioning.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even if you get the right pixel and then you have the enemies there in the middle, like you won't be able to make it through anyway.
Yep.
And since you got that fairy earlier, you don't need to use the powder to capture a fairy in this dungeon, right?
Yeah. So getting that fairy earlier is actually the fastest fairy, but the fairy doesn't always spawn there. So most people usually get a fairy from this room here. So we got the maiden here, and we have to take her out of the dungeon. She's scared to go alone, so we have to take her out. We actually we cannot leave the dungeon actually. You'll see why. She's pretty fast though. You can dash with her. She runs pretty fast. She keeps up with you. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Oh, I hear boss music. What's this? Oh my gosh, it's a boss fight all along. Alright. So this is Blind. Blind is, you know, it looks really... A lot of people have trouble with Blind in a casual playthrough, but Blind is actually very consistent. The most consistent boss in the game. As long as you fight Blind the same exact way every single time. I messed up there a little bit, but I was lucky enough to where the fight didn't go too out of hand. Because if you mess up the fight, then, well, the fight can be random, depending on when and where you hit Blind. So, 2 crystals down, and now that we completed the 4th dungeon, actually the whole purpose of why we do the 4th dungeon so early is because we get the item called the Titan's Mitts. It allows you to pick up the dark stones that are in the Dark World. And that's useful because for this upcoming side quest, it's you know, very useful. Saves a lot of time. It's even though it's optional, it's worth picking it up even in the any percent no major glitches category. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up that rock and save this frog here. This frog is actually the swordsmith in the Light World. and he will actually upgrade our sword. But first off, we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves another heart piece, and this is where item dashing is so useful. Otherwise, you have to hammer all these pegs one by one. Yeah, for now, you can go ahead and, if there's any, okay, whatever. You can go ahead and read, donations or comments if you'd like.
I would like. I always like to read donations and comments. Well, Trainer Anade, one of our amazing mods, just showed this off in chat. If you would like to donate, you can do !donate in chat, and our donation link to Tiltify will come up. Pretty cool. But why are we raising all this money? Well, we're raising money for Go Rescue, a dog shelter in Norfolk, Virginia, around where I used to live, so this kind of feels like a hometown effort for me. Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time, care, and love they need to find not just any home, but the right home. And we've raised $323.75 for those doggos so far. Our goal is $5,000, and I believe we can get there to help that amazing charity.
So right here, we just got what's called half magic. So half magic basically means that any item that uses magic consumes half the magic, basically. It's a very useful upgrade that allows you to, like, later on we're going to be using items that consume a lot of magic, and that allows us to just use a lot more of them later on. Alright, so we got the purple chest following us over here, and it's gonna allow us to get a bottle, and and right after I get this bottle, there's gonna be a neat little trick. Hopefully I can get it here. It's about a few seconds if I get it. Oh, I didn't get it. So if you use your flute, the frame after hitting yes on that option there, then you can just use the flutes immediately after getting the bottle, and it saves about a few seconds. It's really cool to get. Didn't get it that time, but that's okay. Alright, so now we're heading up to the next dungeon here. This is the third Dark World dungeon. So I guess in that sense, this is the third Dark World dungeon that we're doing, and it is the third Dark World dungeon. This is called Skull Woods. Now, Skull Woods is a very complicated dungeon to go through. It's like very easy to get lost, but as speedrunners, we know the fastest way through Skull Woods, so it's really easy. This first room right off the bat is like the hardest room of the dungeon here. So these mummies here, they really get in your way. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do this real quick. All right, there we go. Yeah, as you can see right there, they really get in your way. And I didn't do it correctly, but you can actually manipulate the mummies in a way where they can get stuck in a wall, and you don't have to deal with them while pushing that statue. But unfortunately, I lost a lot of health. It could pose a problem. We'll see. But coming up is our next bomb jump. So you're supposed to fall down in those patches of grass in order to get to this. But there we go. So what? Oh no! Uh-oh! Actually, this is not good. Okay. Alright, so I'm at 1 heart, which is actually not good. We'll see what happens here. But that bomb jump saves having to go through an extra part of Skull Woods, and allow us to get the item of the dungeon early, which is the fire rod. And the fire rod, ooh, that was close. The fire rod's a really powerful item here, and you'll see how powerful it is when we get to the main part of Skull Woods here. Let's do this. Okay, so hopefully this upcoming fire snake doesn't get in my way. Okay, he is nice this time. Very nice. And I know I do have a fairy, but I do not want to use the fairy because I want to save it for something else. So what I'm going to try to do here is that. Turn that yellow dust thing into a fairy so I can get my health back there. That way I can have less risk of dying. But here we go, Mothula. Let's see how this goes. Okay, very nice. So, that probably looked really easy, but the fight gets really crazy the longer you fight him. And the way Mothula works is Mothula cannot take damage from any tier 4 damage, which includes, of course, a spin attack from the Tempered Sword. And if you hit Mothula into spikes, he takes 0 damage. So you want to hit Mothula in a way where he doesn't run into the spikes, otherwise he's just not going to take any damage at all. And then also the scary part is that those spikes are going to be moving all over the room while the floor is moving as well. So the fight gets really crazy. But we got a relatively fast fight, fortunately.
That was a great fight.
Yeah, the fight can either go really bad or really well, and no in between.
It's a very scary fight, because you need a lot of practice to get it consistent, and it's very, very hard.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so now, we are going to go and get flippers, finally. It costs 500 rupees to get flippers. So it was very important for me to get good rupee luck and during the digging game and chess game. Otherwise, I would have had probably 400 rupees with the luck I was having earlier on in the chess game, and take a massive detour in order to make those rupees up. But since I got lucky enough towards the end of the chess game, I don't have to do that, which is good.
And where would you go if you would need to, say you had only 400 rupees? Where would you go to get those?
So, there is a cave in Lake Hylia with the 3 mini Moldorms, and when you defeat those 3 mini Moldorms, then there's a thief that will give you 300 rupees. It is a pretty big detour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see where.
I think this guy's gonna... Okay. You want to make sure you're dashing on the grassy parts, because you do move faster dashing on the grassy parts than dashing in the water. I took my time there because you want to be at full HP going to Ice Palace, which is our next upcoming dungeon. So here's our... Here we're just gonna spend our 500 rupees for the flippers, which will allow us to swim. That way we don't need to do fake flippers anymore. You can do fake flippers in order to enter Ice Palace, but it's not faster to do that, and you need the flippers anyway for a later dungeon.
A later dungeon that is actually the second dungeon in the Dark Town.
Yeah, we're doing these dungeons way out of order. As the Ice Palace is actually supposed to be the 5th dungeon. Please get out of my way. Thank you very much. Please don't hit me. Thank you very much. Alright. This portal conveniently takes us to our next dungeon. Here we go. So, Ice Palace. When a lot of casual players think of Ice Palace, they dread. Because Ice Palace is like lots of puzzles, lots of going around, and also ice physics, right? So, but in the speedrun, well, Ice Palace is basically half the length that a casual player would do Ice Palace. In this route, this trick is actually mandatory, because you're normally supposed to have the item of the second dungeon in order to actually do this dungeon. And that is called the Ice Palace Bomb Jump. And so it may not look like it at first, but you will see when I do the trick, it's actually going to save quite a lot of time. The item of the dungeon is Blue Mail, which is a tunic upgrade that will reduce the damage that you take from enemies by 1/4. But you do not need the Blue Mail at all, as later on I will be getting the upgraded Blue Tunic much later in the game. So you'll see me skip it. In fact, actually, we skipped the big key entirely in this dungeon. I'm gonna wait for this guy. Alright. So here's the Ice Palace Bomb Jump coming up right here. Nice! I'm gonna wait. Okay, good. So, as long as those pegs are up in that room, then you're gonna see that this is gonna save a lot of, like, going around the dungeon. So, what originally was, like, a 10-minute dungeon, turns into about 5-ish. It's the biggest sequence break of the run. Alright, coming up is the boss fight, Cold Stare. Hilarious name, but this fight can be scary if you mess something up in the fight. We'll see what happens. So it takes 8 fire rod shots to break this ice. Nice. Very good.
Very good fight. Wow.
After you break the ice, Cold Stare will split into 3, and it takes 6 slashes per puff to defeat each puff. But you saw that I did an extra fire rod shot, and you know, when you without half magic, you have just enough magic to break the ice, so you will not have the magic to use the fire rod on the puffs at all. But thanks to half magic, I was able to use an extra one in order to save 2 slashes on the puffs right there in the corner. If you let them go, then the fight's really scary, because like the puffs are going to be moving around, and then the icicles are going to be constantly falling on top of you as well. Cold Stare does 4 hearts of damage if you let him hit you. So, in most categories, Cold Stare is like one of the scariest bosses in the game. But now we're coming up to the scariest part of the run as far as dying is concerned in 100%. And so I'm going to climb Death Mountain again, and we're going to go through a cave with a bunch of spikes here. And you can go through the entire cave with exactly... hold on. Alright, this is actually not good. I hope that I will get a fairy drop before the cave here. Otherwise, this is why I got the fairy much earlier in the run. And I will need serious time once I do the cave. Unless I don't... Okay, I don't. Alright, I don't need serious time anymore. Because I know I cannot make it through the cave without dying. But if you enter this cave with the full 14 hearts, then you have just enough hearts to actually make it through the cave. Assuming you do everything correctly. like well-timed dashes, not nudging in any of the corners. And then after you get the Cane of Burna, which is what you get at the very end of this cave, then you can use the Cane of Burna to be invincible and not get hit by the spikes. It's the only time that we actually use the Cane of Burna. Hopefully. So from this point on, dying isn't too much of a concern. This is kind of one of the nice things about 100%. You do have a lot of health that you're not that much in concern of dying. You know, I could still die if I take... it doesn't mean I am gonna die. I'm not gonna die anymore. It just means I'm less likely to die from here on out. So we got Ether, which is needed to enter this next dungeon, and also getting this heart piece. You want this heart piece to be your 4th heart piece in order to get a full heart container, in order to have full HP for this upcoming dungeon here. This is called Misery Mire, and as you can probably tell from the name of this dungeon, it is full of misery. So, here we go. Health management is very important in this dungeon. And there's a lot of hard-hitting enemies in this dungeon. This is kind of like where the game gets, like, really hard. As far as, like, if you're playing this casually, then yeah, this is the part where the game gets kind of hard. Because, this is the 6th Dark World dungeon. So, the game assumes that you have completed Ice Palace, which I have, but I didn't get the blue mail. In order to reduce the amount of damage you take from some of these enemies in this dungeon. And then to top it all off, the boss of this dungeon requires, like, the fastest way to beat the boss of this dungeon involves a ton of intentional damage.
Is now a good time for a message?
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Well, if you just wandered into our little corner of Twitch and you're wondering what the heck is going on, No Glitches Allowed is a charity event dedicated to speedruns with very few glitches or without glitches entirely. This includes no major glitches, glitchless, and any other run that doesn't have significant tricks or skips. If you're interested in getting involved or finding out more, make sure to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter to get updates about future events. And I believe you can type !Discord. Yes, you can. I just did it in chat. If you would like to join us and help out with future events, definitely go there. Y'all are making good progress on this run too. I'm excited to see the end of this.
Thank you. So what we do earlier in that torch puzzle is I shot the fire rod through some of those blocks, and you know, those blocks are basically just like non-existent when you push them, so you're able to just use any item through those blocks while they're moving. Alright, so we're approaching the item, the Cane of Samaria here. You can use it to create blocks, and then use it again to shoot up beams that shoot in 4 different directions. And there is a puzzle with the Cane of Samaria very shortly after. Normally, coming up would be a trick known as Spooky Mire Glitch coming up, but I'm not gonna do it in this run. I actually only came back to this game in preparation of No Glitches Allowed for the first time in 5 years, And I haven't really like practiced this trick enough to really show it off in the run, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Okay. But normally you set it up there, and then what would happen is the hitbox of the fire rod shots would like extend, and then some magic would happen. But unfortunately, we will not be seeing that in this run. If you can do it right, then it could save about 10 seconds because you skip having to go through this room. And then just go straight into the next room right over here. And then you can also save even more time in this room without having to manually hit this switch. Alright, and then coming up is Vitreous. So let's see how this goes. This is a very scary fight. Okay, good. So, the slime does 1 heart of damage each time you're inside the slime. And, the other risky thing about that fight, about the way I did that fight, is you want to make sure you do not get hit by any of the eyeballs, because they do 4 hearts of damage. So, it is very important that you manage your health throughout the entirety of the dungeon, coming up to, the boss fight. Otherwise, if you don't have enough hearts to even do to even do that strat, then you're just hoping that you survive the fight.
Yeah, and you lose a lot of time too. If you can't do that quick strat, you lose a lot of time because you have to individually kill each eye, and it loses a lot of time.
Yeah. Fortunately, in 100%, because I have the Cane of Burna, I can use it to be invincible and go through the slime and hit the eyeballs that way if the fight goes wrong. But in most categories, you don't really have that option.
Right, I wasn't thinking about that. You have Burna.
Yeah. That's the baby strat. Alright, so, after that, now we're going to get that heart piece. Oh, and, what I just did there, it looked really strange, but, on Japanese 1.0, you can use the mirror in any cave, and, the blocks just disappear while you're moving them. And so it's, like, the hardest trick in the world in order to, I say that sarcastically, because it's like, because you just simply press Y.
As long as the block is moving, whenever it's moving, you press Y and with the mirror, and the block will just disappear.
Alright, so we're about to get Bombos, which is the final the final medallion of the 3 that we're getting. We never use Bombos. It's a cool item. I like using Bombos, but the animation of Bombos takes so long that it's not worth using Bombos at all.
As a kid, it was my favorite.
Yeah, I love using Bombos, but it doesn't. It's just not worth using it in the speedrun.
No.
And now we're about to open up the next dungeon, which is Swamp Palace. We're finally going to Swamp Palace. This is actually the second Dark World dungeon. First off, we're going to go ahead and flood the water there. That's how we're going to actually do anything in Swamp Palace, by doing that. Basically, the way that puzzle works is when you do something in one world, then then something else happens in the other world. And now here we are, Swamp Palace. So because Swamp Palace is a dungeon that you could have done much earlier in the game, it's not very hard as far as dying. It's actually one of the more easier dungeons to go through. But to actually do it fast is pretty difficult. You have to make sure you have to like react to certain enemy patterns. Enemies can get in your way, and then because it's a water dungeon, you have to optimize your swimming movement as well. So you could lose little bits of time here and there, and it adds up pretty fast if you don't have a good Swamp Palace segment. So there's not a whole lot to say for this first half of the dungeon. So you can go ahead and read donations or have any announcements that you want to say while I go through this first half of Swamp Palace.
Absolutely. Well, we do have a couple of donations that have come in. We got $20 from New Life 88 who says, "Gotta save those doggos." And we also got $7 from Trainer Anade who says, "For good puffs and great gaming, less than 3." And that donation went towards the English language option for the Say No More language bid war. So that puts us at $0 for Spanish and Japanese, $7 for English, $8 for Arabic, and $15 for Irish Gaelic, which is my personal favorite, so I don't mind if that one wins. But all of the options are great. And just a reminder, everyone, when you submit your donation, you can attach a donation incentive and also a bid war to your dono. We definitely want to see all those bid wars and donation incentives have a lot of donations going towards them. Now, we don't have any incentives open right now, but we do have several different bid wars going. I'll remind you of our Disneyland Adventures and the Streets of Rage 4 bid wars, and also later on today, we're going to see a Papa's Hot Daguerre character bid war between Taylor and Peggy. Taylor's got $0, Peggy's got 2. There's an opportunity there for some generous person to help one of those characters out. Would you like me to share more messages, or are we good to go back to the game now?
I think we're good to go back to the game now. So we got the big key, and this is going to allow us to open up the big chest, which will contain the item of the dungeon, the hook shot. So the hook shot allows us to pretty much hook onto things and travel across distances. It's pretty useful shortly after this dungeon. Here's a cool little trick that hopefully I can get here. Okay, good. So that's a pixel perfect coordinate position right there in order to be able to hook shot that pot right there to get that key. Yes, now we're gonna finish this dungeon. This run through Swamp Palace hasn't been too bad here. Just a few things here and there. Coming up is the boss, which is Argus. And there's a trick that you can do with Argus called the Zero Cycle. I'm not going to do it. It's insanely hard to do. But it involves using the item dashing with the hook shot. We call it hook dashing. And you can just defeat the puffs like very fast. But because it's so hard to do, I am not going to do it. And it also requires like dexterity on your hands as well that I haven't developed yet. So I'm just gonna do it the way Nintendo intended you to fight this boss. So normally these puffs take 2 slashes, but with the tempered sword's so powerful you can just beat them you can defeat the puffs in 1 slash. And there we go.
Also, how cool is the hookshot? Such a cool item.
Yeah, it's a very cool item. The other thing the hook shot can do is, if you're about to get hit, you can use the hook shot, and whatever you're about to get hit by goes right through you, and you won't get hit. And that is used in a few places in the run.
You can also get hook speed, which is similar to what the spin speed is. Just if you use the dash and the hook shot on the same frame, and then walk on manual stairs, you will get the same glitch, like the super speed glitch.
Yeah, and it's much easier to do that than using the spin attack, which you'll see me do while I have the hook shot equipped. So we have another long stretch without doing a dungeon here. We just have to pretty much collect the rest of the items of the game before moving on to the next dungeon.
Yeah, this is the cleanup. Get everything that's left, and then finish up.
Okay, did I do this right? If you can get this heart piece in a very specific position, I did not get it right. That's okay. That's only loses about a few seconds. Basically, if you warp, if I was a few pixels more to the left of where I just warped, then I could actually immediately warp back to the Dark World after getting the heart piece. So, we're about to get our fourth bottle, the final bottle, and then after that is another trick called bomb duplication. So, if you complete Ice Palace and Misery Mire, then the big bomb will spawn in what is Link's house in the Dark World. And the big bomb requires 100 rupees to pick up, and you want to transport it over to the pyramid in order to get our a sword upgrade as well as silver arrows. But with bomb duplication, you'll see what it looks like. I do have 200 rupees, so if I fail it, then I do have another try at pulling it off here. But if I screen transition right as the bomb explodes, then I just get the bomb again on the next screen. Nice.
Really good. Wow.
So if you mess up your movement at all while performing this trick, then it's likely the bomb is going to explode so early that you just that you'll transition while the bomb explodes, and you just lose a lot of time if that happens.
Especially if you don't have enough money to buy a new one.
Oh yeah, exactly. We're actually going to upgrade our sword again. So now we have the gold sword, which will do tier 4 damage here. And then we're going to upgrade our bow and get silver arrows here.
Also worth mention that when you do this bomb duplication, you can also use the mirror to do that. So you can, if you mirror on the same frame, the bomb explodes, then you will transition into the light world with the bomb.
Oh yeah.
But that's also very risky.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a much riskier and faster way than the way I did the bomb dupe right there. Alright, for now, I have nothing else to talk about, so if you have any more donations or comments, then this would be a good time.
All right. Well, for those who are watching, if you'd like to help with future events, we always host volunteer applications before our events. They typically run alongside submissions and are announced on our Discord and Twitter. Keep an eye on those if you're interested in running production, tweeting the tweets, or maybe even hosting live on the mic like I'm doing right now. even if you're just looking to volunteer for the first time, we'd be happy to help you get your foot in the door. And our next event coming up will be No Holidays Allowed. This event is open to all kinds of speedruns and showcases that runners have, not just glitchless runs. We're looking forward to showing us some amazing speedruns to watch as you bundle up by the fire this winter.
You can keep going if you like.
All right. Well, I've never had a problem not talking, as people close to me know. Several members of the No Glitches Allowed team also work on staff for Complete-a-thon, which is an event that features completionist 100% categories, just like the one we're watching right now. This event typically takes place in the summertime, so feel free to follow us at twitch.tv/Complete-a-thon and at Complete-a-thon on Twitter for announcements so that you won't miss out on when our next Complete-a-thon event takes place. I can keep going. I have lots to say.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Man, I just get to talk so much right now. I'm just a happy bear living up to my name. So just a reminder, everyone, we've got that Say No More language bid war open. That one is close to my heart because I am the runner for it. We've got English at $7 right now, Spanish and Japanese at $0, Irish Gaelic at $15, and Arabic at $8. And by supporting that language bid war, you support those adorable dogs that we're raising money for. The Go Rescue website, and remember, Go Rescue is the charity that we're raising money for. It has its own section for adoption success stories. Well, I can't read today. Please go check out gorescuedogs.com/success stories for some adorable pictures and heartwarming tales. They will make you want to donate, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to get the ice rod now. This is the most out-of-the-way item to get. So sometimes it's easy to forget to get the ice rod. You could go through the entirety of the next dungeon and realize that you didn't get the ice rod, and it's a pretty sad way to lose the run. Yeah, now that we got the ice rod, we're going to go back to Death Mountain once again. It's the last chance for Boulder RNG here. I didn't explain this much. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. And it's also the last time for me to get unlucky like this.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So here's the hook dash that New Life was talking about right here. It's much easier to set up than using the spin attack. Alright, so we only lost 2 hearts. That's not bad, but still lost a lot of time there. But that is Death Mountain for you. I guess we didn't explain the first time that we were at Death Mountain, but those rocks that fall down, they're random. So along with, you know, the dead rocks being random, the boulders fall down at random, so like whether or not you go through without getting hit is not in your control all the time. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, the dead rocks are very, very annoying. They have, how do you say, they are RNG,
Yes.
kind of. Yeah, like, sometimes it feels like it, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not sure, but yeah, and then they can make you lose so much time.
And you can use Quake to defeat them, but because the animation of the medallion takes so long, it's just not worth it.
Right.
Like that. Alright, but yeah, this is Turtle Rock here. So this is another thing that the Canismari can do. You can, the Canismari can create these moving platforms which you need in order to go through this dungeon. Go ahead and light up these torches right over here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hook on to one of these torches here in order to get back to the next part quickly. Normally, in any percent, you can use the hook shot in order to go through these rollers without getting hit, but because I have the cape, I can just use the cape and dash right through them. Coming up on chomps here. The chain chomps, they are pretty scary. Let's see what happens here. Please be nice. Please be nice, please be nice, please be nice. Okay, you are nice, thank you very much. They do 4 hearts of damage if you get hit by them. And if they give you an unfavorable pattern, then that room is scary.
That was a good room. And it's such a nice run, 100%, because you don't stress as much health-wise, you know, at the closing to the end of the run, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing is you have upgrades too. You have upgrades that you don't normally get in the No Major Glitches run. So, you know, it does speed up some parts of the late game as a result. Which, in my opinion, I feel like just executing the late game with these upgrades feels much more satisfying than in any percent.
mm.
And that's one of the reasons why I focus on this category more than any percent No Major Glitches. Which I'm actually one of very few who actually does prefer this category over most other categories. Most people usually don't run this category because of the RNG that involved in order to get a good time in this category.
I think it's a fun category,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's a very fun category. Hard to grind, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when you're closing in, you know, those like where you only can save a few seconds or a few minutes, then it becomes really hard.
Come on. Yeah, there we go. This guy.
So what he's doing here is trying to manipulate how the enemies walk, because they walk at the same time as you do. And he's trying to manipulate them, so...
I was a little unlucky, but yeah, there we go. Finally got through. Alright, so now off to the second part of Turtle Rock. So we get the mirror shield, which there is actually a mid-tier shield called which is the red shield, but because I'm allowed to skip any lower tier item before the mirror shield, we just get the mirror shield right away. Oh my gosh. The mirror shield is supposed to be used for one thing only, and that is to get a key in this coming up later on. But it is optional. I don't have to get it. But the strat that I'm about to do in order to get the next key is much easier with the mirror shield. So first I'm going to get this red beetle out of the way using the Samaria block, and then the mirror shield allows you to block beams, those laser beams, so I'm able to just run right through without having to get hit by the laser beams, and then grab that key. And then coming up is the boss of this dungeon, which is Trinex. So Trinex, as the name implies, he has 3 necks, and you have to defeat all 3 necks. There's a red neck, a blue neck, ice rod on the red, and fire rod on the blue. And with the gold sword, it takes 3 hits to defeat each head right here. And then after defeating both of them, now we have the main fight here. There we go. So in the first few seconds of the second phase, you can actually hit the front of the head. Otherwise, you have to hit the middle. Normally.
With the gold sword, with the golden sword, it's a very relatively easy fight.
Yeah, this fight generally isn't hard. With the exception, the only time it's a huge challenge is the low percent category where you have just the Master Sword. So this is all 7 crystals obtained from the Dark World dungeons, and with all 7 crystals obtained, it is now time to head over to the final dungeon. But we need 1 more heart piece left in order to get the full 20 hearts, and then off to the final dungeon, which is Ganon's Tower. One final spin speed right there. So go ahead and grab this final heart piece. I'm not cheating, but basically if you use ether, then you can see those platforms. But because I already know where those platforms are, I can just walk over them. There we go, 20 hearts. So, up next is Ganon's Tower. And Ganon's Tower is a combination of a bunch of different things here. I'm gonna be focusing on this dungeon quite a lot, so I'll have New Life take over most of the explanation of Ganon's Tower.
So yeah, in the Ganon's Tower, he's going to fight several bosses, bosses that he has fought previously. It's kind of like refights, and like I also explained in the first tower, the castle tower, was a series of gauntlet challenging rooms. So he's going to go through several rooms that require that are pretty challenging. But these rooms are pretty straightforward. He's using the hook shot to get across and hitting the switches with the Samaria. So it's nothing out of the ordinary. And soon he's going to arrive to the first boss, and it's the refight of Armos, the first boss in the Light World. Only in this case, the boss is going to be on the ice floor, so the fight is much more challenging. However, he has also the silver arrows, so in this case, it only takes 1 arrow shot to kill them. So, if he didn't have the ice arrow, the silver arrows, then probably it would have been much more challenging. But with the silver arrows, it's probably going to be easier. Yeah. And after the boss, he will get the big key, and then before he starts climbing, he's going to get the red mail. The red mail is the strongest mail upgrade defense upgrade. It will reduce the damage, I think, to a quarter, right? Pretty sure.
About like 50, between 50 to 75%.
Right. Okay. So he has the best defense right now. Okay, so these rooms are the mimic rooms. They can be very, very annoying. He's going through them very well. Also, having the silver arrows makes it much safer.
And the mirror shield as well.
And the mirror shield, yeah, definitely.
So right here, I fall down right away, and that's so I can guarantee a safe pass to those cannonballs. Otherwise, those cannonballs are like a pain to go through. But here we have like 5 really hard rooms in a row.
Yeah, and this is what we call them, the gauntlet in the speedrunning community. This is it's very challenging because there's a lot of RNG too with the movement of the enemies, so you have to adapt really quick. And you can. There's no risk of dying, but there's a risk of losing a lot of time because of that. And now he's going to fight the second Landmolus, and this one has an added effect of having a shooter shooting beams at you while you're fighting the boss. And like you saw there, he got hit, and that prevented him from killing the boss in one cycle. But very good climb so far.
That's not what I wanted.
Oh, yeah. So usually you want to use the Somaria block there, so you can hit
Okay.
three at the same time. But he accidentally used the fire rod.
I anticipated too early on this upcoming room. Happens sometimes.
We're getting close to the end. There's only a few more rooms before the third boss, which is Moldorm Revisit. And in this case, the platform is much smaller, so it's very risky. But he has the gold sword now, so it takes, I think it's 2 hits.
Yeah, 2 hits.
2 hits to kill, so much easier, but you have less room to fight him. Very good, very quick.
It is actually possible to, oh my gosh. It is actually possible to skip the Moldorm fight by hovering, but not very many people do that.
Yeah, you can, yeah, but it's super, like, it's a high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Like, if you fall, then you lose so much time. And now he has Aghanim 2, and so it's very similar to the first time he fought him, just he has now 2 more shadows. The shadows will only shoot energy balls, and Aghanim himself has a 50-50 chance of shooting either a blue ball or an energy ball. And very good. He did the fight really well. And now all there's left is Ganon.
Yeah, normally in the any % category, there's more to explain for Ganon, but here it's a pretty straightforward fight. But there's still things to talk about, so I'll let you go ahead and talk about Ganon.
Yeah, so Ganon has 4 phases, and with the gold sword, it takes 6 sword slashes to go through each phase. Once you've gone through the first phase, the second phase, he starts spawning these fire bats around him that kind of aim towards you, but with the hook shot you can dodge really quickly. Third phase already, he teleports and breaks the floor around the room, so you have to hit him each time he becomes visible. And on the last time he breaks the floor, he is going to the lights are gonna turn on. It's like that. So now he has.
Alright, time's coming up.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, I got a really good 4th phase.
Yeah. There's so much you can talk about that fight. That the fight went so quick that it's hard to tell everything.
Yeah, especially in 100%. You have more time to explain the 4th phase in any % because you do a different strat without silver arrows.
Right.
Yeah. So my time is 1:53:58, which
Very good time.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how I played. The RNG didn't quite go in my favor as I'd like, but there's not really much you could do. Only so much you can do about it. But outside the RNG, really happy with this run. I'm really happy I got to showcase this run here. This is a very special game to me. It's my first speed game, and finally got to show it off at a No Glitches Allowed event. And if you like to learn more about this game, you can watch my stream, or you could. We have a really large Link to the Past community. If you're interested, there's a weekly race that happens every Sunday. If you're interested in learning more about the game and want to pick the game up, the community is really strong. We're always happy to answer any questions. So if you like what you saw, I stream this game as well as the other Zelda games pretty often. I'm also, I'm sure, since I've been running at these events for a while, I also speedrun the new Super Mario Bros. Games as well. Thank you, New Life, for hanging out with me during the run.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, go and check out New Life as well. He's my Link to the Past buddy. Back when I ran this, when I was actively running this game 5 years ago. Also, thank you. I believe Happy Bear Lives for being the host of the run here. Did an awesome job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's actually, I usually just go by Happy Bear. I had to add the lives onto the end for Twitch because somebody is camping on the name Happy Bear, which is extremely annoying. But yeah. I'm sure I'll get it someday when I get partner, yep.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you both. This was a great run, and it was super fun to host for it. So everyone give a big round of applause for Mchan and New Life, and we'll go from there. Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and enjoy the rest of the marathon, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break before we do anything else. But before that, I do just want to remind you, if you're wondering how you can help Go Rescue besides money, they're always in need of supplies to keep the pups happy and healthy. They accept dry and canned dog food, bleach, cheap paper towels, laundry detergent, furniture, and even vehicles. You can also go to gorescuedogs.com and go to the How can I help tab. To find their Amazon wish list, let's help out the pups. I know you all are into helping pups, or else you wouldn't be here, right? Alright everyone, well this ends my journey on the host mic for this marathon, but I will see you again in about an hour. Running Say No More, so don't feel bad, I'll be back in a moment. But I am going to transfer the hosting mantle to my fellow Happy by 3. I guess we've got another happy block going on, a happy hosting block, and couldn't be happier to transfer it over to my fellow compadre in joy. I don't know how else to describe Happy by 3, but anyway, Happy by 3 is going to be hosting, and I'll see you in a little bit, chat. Bye!
Good afternoon and happy holidays, everybody. It's Happy Block again. For those of you who were with us yesterday, I started out and handed it off to Happy Bear. Now Happy Bear's handed it off to me. My name is Happy by 3. I will be here with y'all for the next couple of runs. I've had the unique pleasure of being here for every Selkuth Mind run from yesterday morning to this morning to now our third and final run by Selkuth Mind, Dicey Dungeons. I'm super excited for this whole block. It's going to be so much fun. We've got Dicey Dungeons by Selkuth Mind, a game by, if you didn't know, the creator of VVVVVV, Terry Kavanagh. Dicey Dungeons was a 1-week game jam game originally that Terry made in 7 days, and then realized that it's actually a really good game and did some updates, and eventually there was a full release, which you get to see in just a minute. And then after that, I'm going to be hanging out with you for Genesis's run of Please Don't Touch Anything, all endings in order, followed by Say No More by Happy Bear. So it's going to be a fantastic block. It's going to be a blast. I'm super, super excited to hang out with all y'all for the next little bit. And I will leave you to listen to OC Remix for a little bit, and as soon as we confirm what's set up, we'll get Selkuth Mind in here, and we will get going with this little bit of a silly block here.